Hi everyone, for those of you who don't know Dr. Jaquish, well, he's a pretty interesting character. For one thing, if he just added an A to the end of his name and changed his name to Jaquisha, most people would probably think he's a black girl. And I heard about this guy through Facebook. Somebody on my Facebook page linked me his Instagram. He has a pretty big following. He has 670k followers. He supports the carnivore diet, but as you're about to find out, that's only scratching the surface to this man's nonsense. So let's address this carnivore diet thing first. So here's the post he made on Instagram promoting Sean Baker's book. Yeah, he's one of those. It has been over 2 years since I have consumed any fruits or vegetables. Yeah, that's not something to be proud of or brag about. I haven't eaten fruits and vegetables in 2 years. That sounds like something a 10-year-old would say to his parents to piss them off. Blood pressure is low and all other health metrics are normal. Well, if all of your health markers are normal, then that likely means you're unhealthy because it's normal to be unhealthy, at least in the United States. Take cholesterol, for instance. Your average American has an LDL cholesterol score of about 130 milligrams per deciliter, but the healthy, normal physiological range is 50 to 70 milligrams per deciliter, where atherosclerosis does not progress and adverse cardiovascular events are minimized. So if you have normal cholesterol, then you're at high risk for heart disease, and this guy probably doesn't have normal cholesterol. His cholesterol is probably a bit higher than normal because he's on a carnivore diet. He's eating nothing but meat, no fiber, lots of saturated fat and cholesterol. So right here, you've kind of just debunked yourself. You've just proven that the carnivore diet is not ideal. Once understanding protein requirements for even small amounts of muscular growth, you begin to realize that eating anything other than meats is a waste of space in your intestines. Okay, it's important to know that this guy sells a protein supplement on his website called Fortigen, and it happens to be vegan. 5 times more efficient than standard protein sources. Perfect amino acid profile. Skyrocket lean muscle growth by scientifically engineering the optimization of every aspect required for muscle growth. We'll provide you with a way to finally reach peak level of performance. You'll accelerate lean muscle growth and development in the shortest time possible. And it's vegan. So you claim to have been following the carnivore diet for the last 2 years where you eat no fruits or vegetables. You also claim that you should only eat meat, don't waste your time with plant foods, but you're promoting a vegan protein supplement. And by the way, this is a recent thing that he just created. It's not like he made this product like years back and it still happens to be on his website. No, I found his Vimeo account. He made this promotion for this vegan protein supplement Fortigen only 3 months ago, back in September.
Those of you who have been following me month by month, you've noticed I've continued to put on muscle and become leaner. This is something that has helped. I've been testing this for a few months. This is a new protein product.
So, care to explain yourself? Is it just safe to assume that you're completely full of crap? No, you do not need fiber. So I actually agree with him here. You don't need to consume any fiber if you're not concerned with living long. So here's a massive meta-analysis that was published in The Lancet. They found that both prospective and clinical studies found that fiber intake was massively beneficial for reducing all-cause and cardiovascular disease mortality, type 2 diabetes, colorectal cancer. So yeah, if you want to be healthy, if you want to live long, you need fiber. If you're not interested in any of that, you want to die, you want to get sick, yeah, you don't need fiber. Go eat a carnivore diet. The recommendations for vitamins have no science behind them. In fact, people who take multivitamins die younger. Alright, so here's a pretty recent meta-analysis from 2013, Multivitamin, Multimineral Supplementation, and Mortality, a meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials, and what this paper found, multivitamin, multimineral treatment has no effect on mortality risk. So multivitamins don't increase your risk of death, and they don't decrease it either. They just have no benefit. And here's another even more recent meta-analysis from 2018, Association of Multivitamin and Mineral Supplementation and Risk of Cardiovascular Disease, a systematic review and meta-analysis, and they came to the same conclusions as, the previous meta-analysis. These multivitamin supplements, they have no benefit, and they also don't seem to have any negatives either. They're just useless. So this guy is just a complete joke to me. He eats the carnivore diet, he spews pseudoscientific nonsense. I was going to just ignore him, not make a video, because I see people like this every day. But something on his Instagram profile caught my eye. He claims to be the inventor of the X3 system, 10 minutes per day, 3 times the results. So let's take a look at this invention of his, the X3 system. So here's his website. Here is the X3 system. And, sorry, but I don't think you're the first person to invent rubber bands and a metal bar. So this guy is just selling a resistance band set for people who just want to work out at home, who don't want to go to the gym. He didn't invent anything. These things have been around forever. You can find plenty of these sorts of things on Amazon. Now, I wouldn't really have a problem with this. I think this sort of workout equipment is great. It works, it's fine. But if you take a look at some of the information on his website, it kind of crosses the line into scam territory. So my first problem with this thing is the price. It's $550. That's a lot of money for just some at-home band workout system. You can find similar things on Amazon for only 20 bucks. Now, I'm trying to be as absolutely fair as possible. There are some unique features to this X3 system that, kind of justifies a higher price. For one thing, it does go a lot heavier than a lot of these band systems, the cheap ones you can find on Amazon. The ones on Amazon, they only go up to about 150 pounds if you stack up all the bands. This X3 system, at least he claims, goes up to 500 pounds. Now, that's not entirely honest. The 500-pound band, it doesn't actually come with the X3 set. That's an optional accessory. That's $100. So now the system has become $650 if you want the complete set that goes up to 500 pounds. The normal set that comes with the system, the heaviest band, I can't imagine it being much more than maybe 250 pounds of tension when you really stretch out the band. You can find videos on his Vimeo account where he has demonstrations of his X3 system, and this really, really skinny guy, he's doing basically what's equivalent to a bench press with the heaviest band in the set with relative ease, so I can't imagine that being more than like 200 and 250 pounds. Well, you can find bands on Amazon that are 175 pounds for around $40. So you can save a ton of money just by buying normal bands on Amazon. They're literally the exact same thing, and they cost like 10 times less. Now, the X3 system doesn't just come with resistance bands, it also comes with a bar and a floor plate to make it easier to perform certain exercises, but again, you can just find cheaper alternatives online. I found an easy bar on Amazon for like 50 bucks. You can find a steel plate from Home Depot for 10 bucks. And when I looked in my Amazon cart, I had 4 resistance bands and the easy bar. That only totaled up to $159, and that's in Canadian money, by the way. This dude is selling the X3 system for $550 American dollars, so you can do the math. Now, this dude selling the X3 system, he might claim, oh, but the bar that comes with, my X3 system, it's perfectly engineered to hold the bands. Is it worth an extra $400 or $500? I don't think so. You can find the exact same thing or something extremely close to his X3 system online for like 160, 170 Canadian dollars, so what's the point? So the price doesn't make any sense, and when you start looking at the promotional material for this thing, it starts to look really scammy. So first of all, who uses the X3? Well, apparently IFBB pro bodybuilders use the X3, and that is a photo of Cedric McMillan. Now, if you look at Cedric's social media, his Instagram, never seen him use the X3. His YouTube, never seen him use the X3. I've never seen Cedric use the X3 anywhere other than this one photo on the guy's website. So, to claim bodybuilders, pro bodybuilders, use the X3 when you only have one single photo of Cedric McMillan, which was obviously, you paid him to do this for this promotional thing, and no other bodybuilders have used it, never seen any pros use it. Little disingenuous to claim that this is a device that's suitable for pro bodybuilders. This guy also has a section on his website with the heading, "Social media is exploding with enthusiasm," and he has a bunch of clips of fitness influencers using this X3 product on their Instagram. Well, if you actually look at these Instagram posts, they were paid to promote the product. They're giving away promo codes. So this guy on his website is saying, "Oh look, all these fitness influencers, they're using this product, so you know it's good, even though I paid them to promote it." You're not even good at what you do. And this is probably the most ridiculous section of his website. So how the X3 compares, he's comparing the X3, his rubber band weight system, to free weights. Now, if you go down here, will create the highest level of growth. X3 is checkmarked. Free weights are not checkmarked. So he's claiming his X3 system will build more muscle mass than free weights. And not only that, 10 minutes per day for max effectiveness. X3 is checkmarked. Free weights, not checkmarked. So this guy is claiming that his set of rubber bands will build more muscle mass with only 10 minutes of training per day compared to any amount of free weight training that you could possibly do. My God, if only, these huge bodybuilders like Ronnie Coleman had access to this rubber band system when they were competing. Ronnie wasted so many hours in the gym lifting big heavy weights, squatting 800 pounds, bench pressing 500 pounds. What a waste of time. He could have just been lifting a bunch of rubber bands for only 10 minutes per day, and he would have actually been bigger than, he got doing these free weights, squatting 800 pounds, benching 500 pounds. You have completely lost your mind, sir. So he has another section of his website where he doubles down on this insane nonsense, and this section is called X3 Science. Yeah, more like pseudoscience. So he claimed again that lifting weights was possibly the worst way to trigger muscle growth. I think he might be serious. And down here he claimed variable resistance such as X3 creates muscle gains 3 times faster, keyword there being muscle gains, 3 times faster than conventional training. We quoted from a study on Cornell student athletes. Compared with control, improvements for elastic was nearly 3 times greater for back squat, 2 times greater for bench press, and nearly 3 times greater for average power. So when compared with regular weight training, variable resistance training led to double or triple the gains in 1 rep max, and triple the gains in average power from the time period tested. Well, that's a cool story, but that has nothing to do with muscle gains. The study you just quoted had to do with increases in strength and power, not muscle gains, so you are talking complete nonsense. And there are a number of other issues with the study he cited. For one thing, every single group in the study performed free weight training. One group did free weight training with elastic band work combined, and the other group just did free weight training exclusively. But the way this guy worded it in his article, he tried to make it seem as though, one group only did elastic band work, no weight training, sort of like the X3 system he was trying to sell, and the other group just did weight training exclusively, and the group that did the elastic band work, they grew more muscle and got stronger, when no, that's not the case. For one thing, both groups performed weight training, and they didn't even measure increases in muscle mass in the study. That wasn't a metric in the study, and they only measured increases in strength and power. So for this guy to claim that, elastic band work builds more muscle mass, builds more strength than free weight training, and him showing this study that didn't involve elastic band work exclusively, it involved free weight training, and had nothing to do with increases in muscle mass, it's absolutely insane. And honestly, I think this guy is deliberately lying and being dishonest. I looked at this guy's LinkedIn profile. Apparently he has a PhD in biomedical engineering. So there's no way this guy just accidentally misrepresented this research. I think he's doing it intentionally because he knows the people who are going to look at his website, they're not going to be particularly smart, they're not going to be scientifically savvy, and he could just link whatever bad research he wants, and people will just believe it, like, oh yeah, he's a PhD, he linked research, must be legit. Also, he only referenced one single study here. It's very easy to cherry pick single studies that are in support of your claims. What you want to do is try and find meta-analyses. Meta-analyses look at a broad set of data, they have a lower risk of bias, they're higher up on the evidence hierarchy. And if you look at meta-analyses on dynamic effort work, so this meta-analysis compared free weight training combined with elastic bands to just free weight training alone. And what the authors originally found was dynamic effort, elastic bands, weight training, that seemed to be better than free weight training alone. People who did dynamic effort work saw greater increases in strength. But this paper was recently retracted. The authors just made a bunch of mathematical errors, and when they corrected for those errors, they found no benefit to dynamic effort work training with elastic bands. So if you look at the best evidence available, there doesn't seem to be any benefit for elastic bands. So that completely debunks your claims that elastic bands will help you, achieve greater increases in strength. No. You just cherry-picked a single study that suited your bias. You also misrepresented that research pretty badly. And if you look at bigger meta-analyses, there's no benefit to elastic band training. But he did leave a number of other references at the bottom of his article, but there was only one single study that he referenced that actually looked at muscle growth as a metric, and that would be reference 5. The study was titled Effect of a Short-Term Resistance Program Using Elastic Bands versus Weight Machines for Sedentary Middle-Aged Women. So just a few things to point out here. For one thing, so the study was conducted on sedentary middle-aged women. Not bodybuilders, not NFL football players, not superstar athletes like he's showing on his website, just middle-aged women. So maybe he's trying to suggest that this resistance band product, it's not for serious athletes, it's just for middle-aged women. Okay, well then why do you have superstar athletes on your website? And secondly, again, it didn't involve free weight training. This study only involved weight machines. So he can't even show a study that compares, resistance bands with free weights, even though he keeps claiming that research shows resistance bands are better than free weights. Also important to note that machines are typically considered less effective than free weights. So if his resistance bands can't outperform machines, that shows that they're not so good. And this should come as no surprise to anyone. The elastic band group gained less muscle mass, lost less fat mass, had a smaller improvement to their push-up endurance, but they did see a greater improvement to their squat endurance. But it should be noted that the authors mentioned these findings weren't statistically significant. But in any case, this guy keeps claiming that elastic bands, man, they're the way to go. You can build way more muscle mass with elastic bands. It's for hardcore athletes and bodybuilders. But literally, the only study that he posted on his website that was at all relevant to these claims actually contradicted these statements. Bravo! And he also has customer testimonials on his website with before and after photos, and these are the kind of results that I would expect from this type of resistance band at-home workout equipment. These people didn't become huge, jacked bodybuilders, they didn't become pro athletes. No, they're just normal people. They thought this kind of workout equipment suited their lifestyle, and they stuck to the training and diet, and they lost weight, gained muscle, and this completely contrasts the results that this Dr. Jaquish claims he got with these resistance bands. He obviously didn't gain 45 pounds of muscle from just, lifting a few rubber bands up and down. It's ridiculous. So, this workout equipment he's selling, the X3, it's not bad, especially compared to other resistance band equipment you can get. It's just that it is massively overpriced, and the claims that this guy is making on his website, it's just absurd, just completely and utterly insane, and I think he's being deliberately dishonest. There's no way that a guy who has a PhD in, bioengineering or whatever, there's no way he could misrepresent research like this, make the claims he's making. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys liked me just dunking on a carnivore crazy person who's selling just bogus workout equipment. And if you like this video, maybe consider supporting me on Patreon or through my website. I have some funding perks you may find interesting. If you're looking for clothing, then check out the Vegan Gains store. And if you're looking for online coaching, then check out Quality Gains. He offers customized meal and training programs. And if you click the link in the description, you can get a free ebook. And as always, keep making those vegan gains.
Beef. What a relief. When will this poisonous product cease? This is another public service announcement. You can believe it or you can doubt it. Let us begin now with the cow. The way it gets to your plate and how.